Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something truly fascinating. We're talking about gold today. But not just the kind you wear. We're being way deeper than that.
We're using this Wikipedia article to uncover the surprising science, the history, the sheer wow factor of this precious metal, supernova explosions, ancient myths, oh, and a touch of quantum physics for good measure.
I am so ready for this. One of the things that really struck me when I was reading this article is how unusual gold is. Like, chemically speaking, we always say good as gold, but it turns out gold's practically allergic to reacting with anything, isn't it?
Uh-huh, that's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, gold is incredibly inert. It doesn't corrode easily, doesn't react much with other substances. Even acid barely touches it.
Seriously, acid? That's intense.
It's all thanks to its atomic structure. You see, those electrons in a gold atom, they're arranged in a way that makes gold incredibly stable, resistant to change. It's why we find gold artifacts from thousands of years ago, and they look almost brand new.
It's like those gold atoms made a pact to stay fabulous no matter what. Thousands of years, and they haven't aged a day.
Right.
But speaking of gold's wild properties, this article blew my mind when it talked about how malleable it is. Apparently, a gold nugget the size of a pea can be hammered into a sheet big enough to cover a table. How is that even possible?
Okay, so picture this. Gold atoms, they bond with each other, right? But their bonds are, well, let's just say they're flexible. These atoms can slip past each other without breaking apart. That makes gold incredibly ductile. You can stretch it, shape it in ways that would turn other metals into crumbles. It's why we have those intricate gold designs, those super thin gold leaf sheets used in art. All thanks to how those atoms can rearrange themselves without a fuss.
So it's not just about being soft, it's about being agreeable. Like, sure, I'll slide over here, no problem. That's incredible.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Okay, but on to another gold mystery that's always bugged me. The color. Why is gold?
Well, gold. Every other metal seems content to be some shade of gray or silver, but gold, it's like, nope, I'm going to shine differently. You're hitting on one of the most fascinating things about gold. Its color is due to something called relativistic effects.
Relativity. Okay, are we about to get a personal physics lesson from Einstein himself? Because I'm not sure I'm ready for that.
Uh-huh. Not quite. But we are dipping our toes into quantum mechanics. See, gold's electrons, they orbit the atom's nucleus at a crazy speed, like a significant fraction of the speed of light. And that speed, it affects how those electrons interact with light itself.
So these tiny electrons are zipping around like microscopic race cars, and at those speeds, things get weird.
You got it. Think about a race car going so fast that the track starts to warp and bend. It's kind of like that with gold's electrons. Those high speeds bend how light behaves around them, and that distortion, it makes gold absorb blue light and reflect back those yellow wavelengths. That's what we see as gold's color. You just don't see that in most other metals. It's wild.
That's way cooler than I expected. It's not that gold is yellow. It's that the very speed of its electrons creates that yellow. My mind is officially blown.
It's pretty mind-blowing stuff. And it leads to another big question. Where does something as unique as gold even come from?
Good question. It's not like it's just lying around in the dirt like some ordinary rock, is it?
You're on the right track.
Yeah.
Gold's origins are far from ordinary.
Yeah.
It's born from the most powerful explosions in the universe, supernovas.
Wait, seriously, so the gold in this ring I'm wearing, it's made of star stuff.
100%. When massive stars die, they explode as supernovas, or when neutron stars collide, they generate insane heat and pressure. Those conditions, they're like a cosmic pressure cooker, fusing elements together, including gold.
It's like the universe's most extreme forge, churning out gold.
Exactly. That process, it's called nucleosynthesis. It's how we get gold and many other heavy elements here on Earth.
Okay, so we've got gold being forged in these exploding stars. But how did it get to Earth? Did it hitch a ride on a comet? Was it delivered by interstellar storks? What's the story?
Great questions. And scientists have been debating this for ages. One of the most popular theories is that gold arrived during something called the Late Heavy Bombardment.
Late Heavy Bombardment. Okay, that sounds intense. Like hide your dinosaurs intense.
It was a wild time in the early solar system. Asteroids and comets were crashing into Earth and other planets. And many of those asteroids we think contained gold. So when they hit Earth, boom, gold deposit.
So not only are we talking about supernovas, but also asteroids raining down gold. That's wow.
Can you imagine what ancient civilizations thought was going on when they found this incredible material just lying around?
Right. But hold on, there's one more twist in Gold, A Journey to Earth that we have to talk about. And it involves a certain impact crater in South Africa.
Oh, You mean the Vredefort impact structure,
Yeah.
the 2 billion-year-old crater. I remember reading about that. So is this where we talk about how a massive gold-filled asteroid just happened to slam into Earth and create that crater? Like, what are the chances, right?
It's a tempting theory, but the truth is even more interesting. See, the rocks with all that gold in the Witwatersrand Basin, they were actually formed way before the Vredefort impact, like hundreds of millions of years earlier.
Okay, so if the impact didn't bring the gold, what did it do? Picture this. That asteroid, it was huge. The impact was so massive it created this giant basin. Over millions of years, erosion, shifts in the Earth's crust, all those geological processes push those existing gold-rich rocks closer to the surface.
So instead of us digging down to find the gold, that asteroid impact brought the gold closer to us, like some kind of cosmic mining operation, but millions of years in the making. Mind-blowing. What if it had landed somewhere else? Would we even know about that gold today?
Now, that's a question that keeps geologists up at night. But what we do know is that gold's journey to the Earth's surface is just as captivating as its creation in the heart of a star.
Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. Last time we left off with gold making its grand entrance onto the stage of human history. And what an entrance it was.
Talk about a long journey from the heart of exploding stars to asteroid impacts, and finally to the hands of our ancestors.
It really makes you think, you know. It's one thing to understand the science of how gold formed, how it ended up on Earth, but then to see how this material from space became so central to human civilization, that's just mind-blowing.
Absolutely. And right from the start, it's clear that gold's unique properties captivated people just as much as they fascinate us today.
Totally. The article mentions these amazing gold artifacts found in the Varna necropolis in Bulgaria. They're over 5,000 years old, incredibly intricate. It's incredible. Can you imagine crafting something so detailed, like so delicate, with the tools they had back then? I mean, what do you think it was about gold that drew them to it?
It's a question that archaeologists and historians are still trying to answer fully. But you have to put yourself in their shoes. Imagine encountering this material for the first time. This dazzling, shiny thing. It doesn't tarnish, it doesn't corrode.
It's like nothing else they'd ever seen.
Exactly. It holds this brilliance that other metals just don't have. It's not hard to see why they might have connected it to something divine, something otherworldly.
It's like they stumbled upon an alien material, but instead of coming from another planet, it came from the stars.
Right.
Do we have any idea what gold might have meant to those early civilizations, like symbolically?
The Varna necropolis gives us some clues. The fact that they used gold in burials, often with other precious objects, tells us it was probably important to their beliefs about the afterlife.
Makes sense.
Maybe they saw it as a symbol of power, a link to the gods, or even a way to ensure safe passage into the next world.
It's fascinating how those early interpretations, those connections people made with gold, they seem to pop up again and again throughout history.
Absolutely. And different cultures had their own unique relationships with gold. Like in ancient Egypt, gold was considered a symbol of the pharaoh's power and divinity.
Yeah, the article mentions one Egyptian ruler even said that gold was more plentiful than dirt in their land. Can you imagine living in a time when gold was just everywhere?
It really shows you how differently they viewed gold compared to us. It wasn't just a rare treasure, it was a symbol of their national identity, their connection to the gods. They used it everywhere in their temples, their tombs, even their artwork.
But the article also talks about how the pursuit of gold wasn't always, well, sunshine and rainbows, right? Like the legend of El Dorado that speaks to how the desire for gold could easily turn into a curse.
El Dorado, the Gilded One. This mythical city of gold, it drove the Spanish conquistadors to explore and, unfortunately, exploit the Americas.
It's a classic story, really. The allure of gold, the promise of wealth.
Hmm?
It could bring out the best in people, but it could also bring out the worst.
Exactly. And sadly, that darker side of gold, its ability to incite greed and conflict, it's something we see throughout history, even today.
It makes you think. This material, born from stars, prized by ancient civilizations, fought over for centuries, it's almost a mirror to humanity itself, isn't it? The good, the bad, the everything in between.
It really is.
But gold's story doesn't end with ancient empires and lost cities. I mean, we still have gold reserves, gold markets. It's like gold never really left the spotlight.
It's true. In some ways, gold's journey is a microcosm of human civilization itself. We might not view it with the same mystical awe as our ancestors, but its unique properties, its history, it's all woven into the fabric of our modern world.
It's like we can't escape gold's influence, even if we tried. But we're not just talking about gold bars and jewelry anymore, are we? We found new ways to use it, new roles for it to play.
You're right. And that's where we really see gold's versatility shine through.
Welcome back to the show. It's wild to think about everything we've covered about gold, from supernovas to ancient burial grounds to, well, the very devices we use every day.
It really highlights how something forged in those extreme environments, those unimaginable explosions, could end up playing such a crucial role in human history.
It's like we've been following this golden thread that connects us back to the very beginning of the universe.
That's a beautiful way to put it. But it makes you wonder, out of all the elements out there, what is it about gold that has this hold on us? Why gold?
It's more than just being shiny, right? I mean, there are other metals that sparkle and gleam.
Exactly. And I think a big part of it goes back to those unique properties we talked about. The fact that it doesn't corrode, it doesn't really change. It's almost like it resists time itself. To our ancestors, that must have seemed magical.
Especially back then when they didn't have the science to explain why gold behaved the way it did. It was this rare, precious thing that seemed to last forever.
It's easy to see why they might have thought it was something sacred, something connected to the gods.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the ancient Egyptians who believed gold was the flesh of the gods, or even the alchemists trying to create gold from other metals, like they were chasing some mystical formulas, like gold represented this perfect, eternal ideal, something that could never be corrupted.
And in a way, even today, we still see that reflected in how we use gold. It's in our most important technologies, things that have to last, that we rely on. And it's still the material we use for things like wedding rings, symbols of love and commitment, things we want to last forever.
You're right. It's incredible how, even with all our scientific advancements, gold still holds that power, both practically and symbolically. It's ancient, yet it feels so modern. It's a product of the cosmos, but we use it to express some of our most human desires. It's fascinating.
It really is. Gold is a perfect example of how something seemingly simple can have this incredibly rich, complex story.
So as we wrap up our gold deep dive, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
For me, it's that reminder that we are part of something so much bigger than ourselves. Gold, this element that we think we know, has this incredible story to tell. A story that connects us to the vastness of space, to the immense time scales of the universe, to the smallest particles that make up everything around us.
It's a good reminder that there's always more to discover, more to learn, and even the most familiar things can hold incredible secrets just waiting to be uncovered. This has been The Deep Dive, and we'll catch you in the next episode.